Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's your boy, World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite, August 10th, 2022 review. I gotta say, this was actually a solid, entertaining fucking show, a magnificent night of wrestling. I will say that Triple H has got them beat when it comes to storyline telling, though. Raw was fucking awesome, I think. I think the show had some really good changes. It made me feel a little bored. But this show, Raw was good with storyline telling. AEW Dynamite was killing it with the wrestling tonight. It was fucking off the chain. The best show they've had in a couple of weeks now. This was awesome. I mean, there's really nothing you can complain about here. The only thing you could really say or criticize is lack of storyline telling. That's about the only thing they missed. And they did have... Actually, let me take that back. They did have some storyline telling, like the Young Bucks with Hangman Page. It was basically giving us a clue Kenny Omega's returning to AEW next week. We had the return of CM Punk, so this match between Jon Moxley and CM Punk will take place at All Out, guaranteed, so we should see that happen. And that's pretty much it, man. I mean, this show was a knockout of a show. I mean, the very first match that started the show was the coffin match with Darby Allin and Brody King. I mean, they fucking killed each other. There's blood all over this freaking arena tonight, too. I mean, Jericho and Moxley were bleeding in their main event match. Fucking Brody King was bleeding from the fucking thumbtacks on the bottom of the skateboard. I mean, there was blood all over this fucking arena tonight. We also had great tornado tag team wrestling with the Lucha brothers and Andrade El Idolo and Rush together. That was another solid, entertaining matchup. Jade Cargill and Madison Rayne for the TBS Championship. That was a pretty solid women's matchup. I have no complaints there so much. Thankfully, they had Athena show up for at the end of that match when Jade Cargill retained her championship. Madison Rayne getting an opportunity for the TBS Championship didn't make a whole lot of sense to me since she only had one match on the Rampage episode. Other than that, I was a little dumbfounded by that altogether, but I'm not going to complain. The match wasn't terrible by any means. There was a lot to be excited about with this episode. Problem is, we're not getting this consistently. And now, granted, we're not going to get this consistently because not every show is going to be a barn burner of a match card like we got tonight. But this was a good show. This was a really good show. The last good show we had was on June 29th, I'd say. There was one episode that came somewhat close to that. That was the main event match that they had with Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson, which, by the way, Bryan Danielson will be on Rampage this coming Friday, so he will be at this episode that we're watching that we watched tonight. Immediately after the episode ended, so we'll be seeing Bryan Danielson on TV Friday night to hear what he has to say, and then he will be facing Daniel Garcia in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Personally, I don't know why they're setting this match up for a Dynamite episode when they could just keep this for an all-out pay-per-view. This would be an excellent matchup to put these two up against each other. Give Daniel Garcia an opportunity to wrestle on a major pay-per-view event against a big name like against Bryan Danielson. So, I mean, I don't know why they're putting this on Dynamite, but this is really kind of a bad move in my book. I mean, they got a lot of matches on these the cards coming, the matches that are coming up that they could put on the pay-per-view card altogether and make this a really solid, entertaining show, where they don't have to have a schmoz match every single match. But it is what it is. I'm not doing the booking. TK is doing the booking, and he's the one making the decisions on AEW. He's the one with the big checkbook, and he's forking out the money. So I don't really have any room to say anything, but I will criticize when I see things are wrong, and I think that's a bad move on TK's part. But hey, it should be an entertaining matchup, but I don't think they should be giving this match away for free TV. I'd actually pay to see this on All Out, personally. And I think it would make the card a lot stronger if it was on the card. But hey, it is what it is. We also got information about the Trios tag team tournament to crown the tag team champions for the Trios. So that should be a lot of fun. We're still wondering who it is that will be joining the Young Bucks to face Andrade Idolo, Rush, and Dragon Lee in the Trios tournament for the very first match that will take place next week on Dynamite. Obviously, it will be Kenny Omega. I'd imagine that's actually the main event of the fucking show. Obviously, because of the fact that Kenny Omega is making his return back, because Hangman Page denied Young Bucks' offer to join their trio to go into the tournament. Well, the Dark Order's members are actually going to be competing in that tournament, so he wanted to support them during their run in that tournament anyway. I kind of find that a little idiotic. I don't know why the fuck he would turn down an opportunity to wrestle with the Young Bucks to crown as trio tag team champions, but he turned them down. Doesn't really matter. We know what to expect. Kenny Omega's coming back. Darby Allin and Brody King was the opener to the show. Again, like I said, there was blood all over the place. Darby Allin actually managed to win this match with a little help from Sting. Sting showed up to help out Darby Allin. He was in a disadvantage with Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews helping him out. Helping Brody King out, and they were about to dump him inside the coffin, and when they opened it up, he was like the fucking Undertaker. Sting came out with a baseball bat and started hitting Brody King in the face. I think it was Brody King, or it might have been it was Buddy Matthews. He whacked the shit out of Buddy Matthews with a baseball bat, then attacked Brody King, and then, after he did that, Malachi Black sitting in the corner with his legs crossed as if he's meditating or something in the corner. He throws him the baseball bat as if to say, hey, hit me with it. And Malachi Black gets up with the baseball bat in his hand, refuses to hit him with it, and then ends up trying to walk out of the ring, which he does, and Sting follows behind him, and they have a stare down up at the ramp by where the entranceway is. This would lead to Darby using steel chain to wrap around his neck, strangle Brody King, and then eventually he ends up falling directly into the open casket for him to actually close the coffin and win the match. Unfucking believable. JR went crazy. He says, "Look at that! A hole in one!" That was kind of ironic, actually, if you really think about it, making a golf reference to a wrestling match. That was pretty good by good old JR. Next segment, we have Jon Moxley backstage talking about how he's tired of being called the interim champion. He feels that he is carrying the real World Heavyweight Championship since he is there defending the title each and every time he's in the ring. And he says he's starting to feel as if this belt might as well be looked at as the FTW Championship. So he went on record to say that he's going to start calling this the FYI Championship, basically saying the fuck you interim championship. But anyway, he goes on to talk about Chris Jericho. And he says, tonight I got to face Chris Jericho for my World Heavyweight title. And I'm going to test his will and see if he can go ahead and survive like he did in the Stu Hart dungeon. He says that his will, he may not want to give up, but his body will at the end of the day. And that's pretty much all he had to say. Jon Moxley is an excellent promo work all the time. Every time he's in or on television, he cuts these magnificent fucking promos. He's one of the best promo guys in the business today, along with Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. CM Punk is a great promo guy, and also, I almost forgot, MJF. He's one of the best at this time, and he's only 24 years old or something like that. I don't remember his specific age, but kid's young as fuck. So he's got a lot of years ahead of him, and he cuts great promos as well. The next thing that came up was Chris Jericho leaving his statement. He says that he's going to show him the real Lionheart. He's going to destroy him and break his spine and stretch him like nobody's business. So that's basically all he had to say there. The next thing that took place was a tornado tag team match with Rush and Andrade El Idolo against the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero and Rey Fenix. This match, guys, man, holy shit. This was about 15 minutes of old school luchador tag team wrestling taking place on American soil. And let me tell you something, this was a fucking awesome matchup. Does it really mean anything? Does it lead to anything important? Not exactly. Well, actually, we do have Death Triangle with Pac and the Lucha Brothers. So we could possibly see these two teams interact with each other at some point down the road. Who the fuck knows? I don't think it will, but there is a possibility it might. Who the hell knows? But very fun little match here. And the Andrade El Idolo and Rush actually end up winning this match at the end of the day. Rey Fenix got his ass kicked after Pentagon Jr. went ahead and had his mask removed by accident. Well, not really by accident. His head, there's like a little extra portion of his mask that kind of dangles around, and they tied it up to the ropes, and he was trying to save his brother from being pinned, and he had no choice but to have the mask removed, and he tried to cover up his face while he tried to break up the pinfall, which he managed to do. And then one of the manager on Rey Fenix and Penta went ahead and threw an extra mask in there in case they decide they want to take a mask off or something. This eventually led to, I believe, Andrade taking the mask and throwing it into the crowd screaming, "Throw it back," as if they were at a baseball game where the visiting team just hit a home run. I thought that was very hilarious and very entertaining. Unfortunately, that put them at a disadvantage, and the Lucha Brothers end up losing this match to Andrade and Rush. So great job though by both of these guys, both of these teams. And I got to admit, if you did not see this match, go back and watch the episode. You will definitely be very happy that you did. It was a fun match. All right, so the next match on the card was Anthony Henry versus Luchasaurus. That ended very quickly, less than 2 minutes. And then we saw, of course, that was Luchasaurus that won, by the way. We saw Christian Cage clapping on the Titantron. Now, Jungle Boy was actually on commentary while this match was taking place. Very short commentary, may I add. And Jungle Boy saw this, and he decided to go backstage trying to attack Christian Cage. Fortunately, no hands were touched on Christian at all. This is good. I'm enjoying this. This is a slow build towards a match that will be announced for them to wrestle at All Out. I like it. I've been predicting this since it started. I said that Christian Cage and Jungle Boy need to be at All Out. This is a perfect matchup for this. This is a good opportunity for them to utilize Jungle Boy in a singles capacity and really push the narrative that he could be a eventual singles competitor and really succeed at that as well. And they can do either or. They can also keep him with Luchasaurus as a tag team. Luchasaurus is now supposedly a face, but who the hell knows? He might turn back to a heel. He's still wearing the mask. He's still acting like a demon from hell. Who the hell knows? Only time will tell. We'll see how things go. But I got to give them some credit. They're doing a good job with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. This is really good storytelling. Luchasaurus is like a black horse. You don't really know, a wild card, basically. You don't really know whose side he really is on, or if he just walks away from both of them. That's another option they could go with. Who the fuck knows? Maybe he destroys both of them. Instead of walking away from both of them, he just beats the shit out of both of them and stands in the middle of the ring tall as fuck. Who the hell knows? That's another option they could go with. But at the end of the day, this is very intriguing. You're not really knowing where anybody is going at this point. Luchasaurus is very, kind of on the fence, I would say. He's kind of the most interesting factor of all this because you don't know what the hell he's going to do. But Jungle Boy and Christian Cage is the match you want to build to for the All Out pay-per-view. So, yeah, that was actually very enjoyable to watch, and I think this is going to be something everybody's going to be intrigued by at the end of the day. Next, we actually had Miro talking about House of Black, expanding a little more on what he was going to do and where he's going at this point with this group. Pretty much what he is going to do at this point in time is that he is going to join the House of Black to ultimately destroy them from within. And Julia Hart was there, hearing all of this. Very strange. Don't quite understand it, but they're building some kind of story capacity despite the fact no interaction between the two characters. Malachi Black's a little too busy with Sting, and we keep getting that idea that it's going to be thrown at us that we might see Sting and Malachi Black in a one-on-one matchup at All Out. Would I be totally against it? No. Can Sting hold up his end of the bargain and produce a good match with Malachi Black? That's to be seen. I'm not sure. But from tonight's episode, it looks like they might be building towards that to eventually have Malachi Black and Miro build their own story for another pay-per-view. Because currently, right now, the only interaction Malachi Black's really having physically is with Sting. Because they're actually interacting with each other in person. Miro's a little different. So they seem like they're just taking their time with Miro and Malachi to actually get physical in the ring. That's the only assumption I can come up with the vignettes. And this episode really got me behind the idea of the vignettes now. Because they extended a little bit more on this vignette compared to the others. And if they can continue to do this, that's great. But I really still would prefer them physically being able to interact with each other in person. Julia Hart being there, that was a little bit of a positive. We got something out of that. There was some kind of interaction with him and House of Black in some capacity, but still, we don't have the number one guy that he is interested in, which is Malachi Black, interacting with him. In person, I'm saying. They've done vignettes talking to one another, technically, but not actually doing anything whatsoever in person. So that's kind of what I'm referring to. Okay, next up we had Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satin Singh in the middle of the ring, gloating about what they accomplished at Battle of the Belts 3, where they ended up chokeslamming Wardlow at the end of the match when Wardlow retained his TNT Championship. They were gloating about that and getting all happy about that. Apparently, we are getting a Satin Singh versus Wardlow situation. This really blows. I am not looking forward to this. This is the one thing I have a dislike to. I do not want to see Satin Singh getting any fucking championship opportunity at this time, because he hasn't fucking wrestled at all. The guy's a joke. He did a 6-man tag team match and couldn't even get in the ring to break up a fucking pinfall. Had to use the freaking announcers, Tony Schiavone, saying, "Oh, well, he's a big guy. He can't move fast enough to get in the ring." And what the fuck's he doing there? If he can't move fast enough and have a little hustle to do something to help his team win, what the fuck's the point of him being in a match? What is he going to do in a singles match? Put everyone to sleep? Because that's all he's going to do. This guy's fucking worse than the Great Khali. And Great Khali wasn't that good at all. I'll even go as far as saying Almost is better than this guy. This is pretty fucking sad. And Almost is shit. But damn, this guy takes the fucking cake. There's nothing entertaining about this guy. He absolutely fucking sucks. I mean, the Great Khali's got it all over Almost and fucking Satin Singh. I think Great Khali had something to offer as it came to size and intimidation. These guys are just fucking big-ass dummies that can't really do much of anything, and Satin Singh is the bottom of the barrel of big guys in professional wrestling at this time. This guy's fucking pathetic. He's going to face Wardlow for a TNT championship opportunity? He'll probably put us all to sleep or make us all want to go to the fucking bathroom and take a piss. Yes, this is the one rant I will complain about to you guys here on the channel. But my goodness, man, Satin Singh challenging for a TNT championship. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This guy hasn't done shit. One match he was in, his fucking team lost. So go figure that one out. I have no idea what to fucking say about this, but they were gloating about it. Finally, Wardlow interrupted. He says, "You know what? You're going to get your match eventually, but for tonight, I'm going to come down there and beat all 3 of your asses." And all of a sudden, FTR comes out, backs him up so he's not at a disadvantage, and they go to war with Satin Singh, Sanjay Dutt, and Jay Lethal. And Satin Singh, and they all go ahead and they kind of, run away with their tails between their legs, and FTR and Wardlow stand in the middle of the ring, tall, holding their championship belts above their heads. So that's pretty much what happened there in that segment. Okay, so next up, we had Matt Menard and Angelo Parker kissing the ass of Chris Jericho, which is part of the reason why they're called the Jericho Appreciation Society, talking about how they got catering all set, ready to go. They probably grabbed Titus from WWE and said, "Hey, we know that Triple H is doing a great job over there, giving people loads of things to do and have a job, and actually have a purpose on the show. So since you ain't got so many people backstage eating your catering food, how about you come back here and you help us out with Chris Jericho's fucking, celebration for when he wins the AEW World Championship." So yeah, they're talking about that, and they're talking about some other stuff. I'm not even really paying all that much attention. Matt Menard, I got to admit, he does cut a good promo. He's got a lot of intensity, which I greatly appreciate. And he seems pretty cool. I'm starting to come around with him. I think he's pretty good on the mic. And then all of a sudden, Anna Jay is like ending this segment was like coming across pretty good, with Angelo Parker and Matt Menard, and also Daniel Garcia was talking about Bryan Danielson. Those 3 guys did a great job, and then Anna Jay had to fuck it all up and end it like shit. With this fucking pathetic, I'm going to kill you. You gave me a stare. I'm going to choke you out. Bullshit. This woman is going around strangling people that aren't professional wrestlers. I don't know why there isn't a lawsuit being placed against this woman for assault. But who the fuck knows? None of this makes any fucking sense, number one. And number two, Anna Jay is coming across so fucking cringe, it is ridiculous. It is worse than anything I've ever seen in AEW history, to be quite frank with you. Outside of Sunny Kiss and some other shit that we've seen in the past. But this kind of takes the cake. This is more along the lines of stuff we would have seen under the Vince McMahon era. And even that is not as bad as that. It kind of reminds me of the Little Nicky movie where the son of Satan says, "You're going to see things so terrible and horrifying." And then all of a sudden some dude that dresses up like a girl is going ahead and rubbing his nipples and shit. And he goes, "Well, maybe not that bad, but still pretty bad." But yeah, that's kind of what I was referring here. I mean, Vince McMahon was pretty fucking terrible, and Anna Jay's pretty bad, but I guess Anna Jay isn't as bad as Vince McMahon's cringe booking and creative decision-making he did on the show. But hey, I had to go there. It was kind of a funny little thing to do. But yeah, this was pretty terrible way to end it. She was actually... You find her with the camera completely goes off of her, and then all of a sudden we see her on the ground strangling a fucking woman. I don't understand this. What the fuck's she going around strangling people for? This makes no damn sense at all. This is an idiotic way to treat Anna Jay. This is retarded. Didn't like this. This was shit. Alright, so some other things that took place backstage. We also had QT Marshall ask Will Hobbs to join the Fear Factory. Or the Nightmare Factory, I should say. Fear Factory is a fucking metal band that kick ass. But I'm mixing up the names here. That's not good. You guys are going, Fear Factory? Wait, that's a metal band. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Well, maybe some of you don't know who Fear Factory is, but if you're a metalhead, you would. But yeah, I'm actually guilty as charged. I'm a metalhead. I also love rap music and so forth, so shoot me if you like. I don't really care. Yeah, I found this to be a little bit odd that Will Hobbs actually denied QT Marshall his services to help him out. So he refused to take that, and the next thing we see is Aaron Solo going up against Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks and Aaron Solo had a really good, decent matchup. It didn't go very long. I'd say about 6 to 8 minutes, I'd say. But the ending was just... it was a master... it was unbelievably done. It was done very well. They had great chemistry at the end. It all blended together as one. And the ending of him spearing him after they did several counters to one another was amazing. I thought it was cool as shit. Ricky Starks does win the match and ends that matchup altogether. Jade Cargill had a match with Madison Rayne. She retains the TBS Women's Championship. Again, like I said earlier in the video, why she is getting an opportunity when she only had one match on Rampage makes no sense to me at all. There was a segment backstage. I didn't really pay much attention to this. This was with the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. I really dislike that Orange Cassidy's getting the short end of the stick here. I think Orange Cassidy deserves better than what he's getting. Personally, I think he's got a lot to offer to this company. And it really sucks what they've been doing with him lately. One minute he looks like he's going to do something, the next minute he looks like he's being booked 50-50. And That's WWE-S type mentality. That absolutely sucks. He was being talked to by Ari Daivari, a former cruiserweight wrestler within WWE's promotion, and he's got this group that I'm not even familiar with, nor do I care. It didn't seem all that interesting. I wasn't even barely paying attention to this. But supposedly, I think that Ari Daivari is going to face Orange Cassidy in a one-on-one match on Rampage this coming Friday. I'm not sure. Not that it really matters. It's all bullshit. All right, Toni Storm, she actually gets interviewed with Thunder Rosa, and they are looking like they're on a crash course with each other for the AEW Women's Championship once again. Who I think is going to win, I believe, is going to be Thunder Rosa. I believe she is retaining her championship. We might see these two turn on each other, possibly leading towards that. Who the hell knows? There was no Britt Baker to be found anywhere on the show tonight, actually. I was a little surprised by that. And the main event was the World Heavyweight Championship. I'll go a little bit into this. We actually had Jon Moxley have his earring removed from his ear. I don't know if this was literally done or this was a fake earring, and then he just eventually made it bleed somehow in some capacity to make it look legit. I'm not sure. It might have been real, it might not be, but damn, if it was ripped out of his earlobe, that had to hurt like a fucking bitch. And he was bleeding quite profusely throughout the match. And this was done like about 5-10 minutes in. Match started, I believe, at 9:25, ended at 10 o'clock like it's supposed to. And kudos to them. Jericho was at one point at a disadvantage, and Sammy Guevara threw the baseball bat into the ring, but overthrew it, may I add, and went outside the ring on the other side of the ring. This was fucking weird. Looked like a botch situation to me. I don't know what you guys think of it, but that's what I think it was. And so he botched it. At that point, we had Jericho run out there to grab the baseball bat before the referee could see him because he managed to pull off the turnbuckle. And Aubrey was going ahead and attending to that while her back was turned. She did a good job, I would say. I think she was aware of the botch situation, and she just kept her back turned, trying to pretend she had to deal with the turnbuckle situation altogether. So Jericho comes back in with Aubrey's back turned, and he whacks Jon Moxley with the baseball bat. This does not get him a 3 count. He eventually throws him into the exposed turnbuckle. He hits him with the Judas effect following that. When Moxley turns around, he gets only a 2 count. We then get the Lionheart Tamer. That didn't work either. This poor son of a bitch couldn't put Jon Moxley away if his life depended on it. Jon Moxley got the John Cena treatment here tonight. I mean, he was pretty much getting most of his ass beat throughout the whole entire match until the very end. And Moxley pulled out a Super Cena type of mentality and win the match with blood all over him, along with Chris Jericho bleeding to death because the exposed turnbuckle fucked him up, and he started bleeding as well. He got an actual cut right, just right above his right eye, I believe it was, down to almost the bridge of his nose. And he eventually ended up into the rear naked choke or sleeper hold, whichever way you want to call it. Ends up tapping out because he had nowhere else to go. And Chris Jericho ends up losing the match to Jon Moxley, with Moxley retaining his world championship. This led to JAS coming down to aid Chris Jericho and beating the shit out of Jon Moxley. Jericho stood in the middle of the ring while the rest of the group were beating him up. He was holding the world championship up in the air as if he just won the match. Complete and utter bullshit. Then the BCC came out and aided Jon Moxley, and the numbers game got a little bit worse for BCC. and out comes CM Punk. The crowd fucking erupted. I was saying to myself, come on, there's got to be some big fucking surprise here at the end of all this. You got 4 minutes left. Give us some kind of surprise, and out came CM Punk. That surprised the hell out of me. I was pretty excited for a small moment, but then I said to myself, we got to unify these fucking belts already. I mean, it wasn't like he was going to be injured forever. So this is no surprise to anybody. But just to hear him come into that arena and that crowd explode was pretty impressive. So CM Punk came down, helped out everybody from the BCC, and then Moxley and CM Punk kind of had a stare down, and Moxley left the ring with CM Punk celebrating in the middle of the ring with the rest of the crowd to end the show. And that was pretty much it. That was the overall presentation of AEW Dynamite. And I gotta say, guys, this was actually a very fun, entertaining episode. Well worth 2 hours of your time if you had nothing else to do on a Wednesday night. So anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.